Coach, starting third week, I guess, this week. So just how do you feel like it's gone this far from a defensive perspective?
Yeah, it feels, I guess it's day, practice 9?
Yeah.
Feels like practice 2 sometimes. Flies by, and I think sometimes when you're enjoying it, you're having a good time, and kids are flying around, that's awesome. But I think the big thing we focused on is protecting our culture, and that's effort-based defense, playing fast, running the ball, our tackling. I think those are the 2 things we took out of Saturday and said, hey, here's the things we got to work on. And it's just pursuit, which could, if you're pursuing the ball, you're not going to give up big plays, and then attacking. We had some overruns, so that was what we really focused on in practice day with the tackling circuit and the pursuit drill. It was a good day for that. So, and we got some kids that have flashed, and some new guys that have flashed. So that's been a pleasant surprise, and really proud of those guys, proud of our older guys for embracing what we do, how we do things, and just moving forward with it. And then we've had some young freshmen, high school kids that just got here that show that there's why we recruited them, why we signed them, and that they belong here. So it's been an interesting spring. A new offense will make you get lined up fast and put some stress on you defensively. So we've been dealing with that as well as going through what we do. So it's been good.
How do you keep the effort and the discipline the same as what you're accustomed to with JDB trying to keep you up tempo, keep you moving fast?
Yeah. So you're worried about discipline, playing fast, playing physical, creating turnovers, and at the same time you got to catch your breath and get lined up, and you got to think that much faster. So I think I said this the other day. I thought some of our bigger plays we gave up last fall were because we didn't get lined up and we didn't handle tempo. So I think that's stressing us right now to put us in situations where we got to handle tempo. And if we can think fast, we can get lined up fast, and we can play at that tempo, when people slow it down on us, we'll be prepared for that, because that won't be a big deal. Disguising will be a bigger deal then, but right now it's, hey, how fast can I get lined up? What's the call? What's my assignment? What's my job? What's my adjustment? And how can I execute it? And we had a couple situations, a goal line situation today where we got in the 4th down and we don't necessarily execute our assignment because it's going fast again. It's a live drill. It's a little warm out there, and a lot of excuses. But you can't let those hit you. You got to put that behind you. You got to move forward and make sure we rise to the occasion and make sure we capitalize on those situations, because those are as game real as we can make them, and it's been really good for that.
How's the competition at Rush? Trying to replace Jeremy and Jack, and that thing going forward.
Jeremy Lewis and Jack Powers were you kind of set the cornerstone there for forever. It seemed like, and every time we turn on the film, and me and Coach Zachary going through it and kind of showing, it's like Jeremy Lewis is teach tape, Jack Powers is teach tape, and I'm gonna miss those guys. But I'm really excited about Sam Danka and Raheem Craig. Different in their own ways. Raheem is right now he's always played the D line, always has his hand on the ground. But I think he has some really good twitch. He gets off the ball, and some power to him, speed to him. He got really good bend. And then Sam Danka's length out there, and he's more of an in-space guy, off-the-ball guy. Was a high school safety, invert, obviously. So 2 different guys that we're trying to, convert into an outside backer position. But they've grasped it really well. And we obviously got some more work to do to get them to the final product and where we need to be. But just really excited about those 2 guys, and even some guys down the line. Jackson Barker's another guy that's doing a really good job out there. Shy Thompson is a freshman out there that showed that he belongs here at this level. And then we got some other options out there as well.
Raheem, y'all recruited him hard out of high school, and I know he played down D at Louisville.
Yeah.
It seems like y'all's scheme could be a better fit for him. Do y'all kind of agree with that when you're recruiting him?
I do. I think he's a natural out there. He keeps asking if he can get in a 4-point stance. We're like, no, he looked pretty good standing up. And I think that was just a comfort level for him. And he hadn't asked that in the last 2 weeks. That was week 1. But to watch him come off the edge and do some things, and I guess it was Nate Harvey a couple of years ago. You had, and I didn't watch Nate close, but I bet he reminds you of him. That type of guy. Hopefully he's that productive.
Outside of just the production, how do you replace the leadership of guys like Lewis and Powers?
I tell you what, we got guys that are working their tails off, and they're becoming our hardest workers on our football team. I mean, obviously we have Deontay Johnson, Elijah Morris, Surratt Ware, Chad Stevens. The list goes on inside there. But we've got guys that, hey, they started a few games here, a few games there, in the back end at backer. But when those guys, and you always hate to say a guy until he played, go ahead and play, but Zakai Barker's been one of our hardest workers. and he's earned the respect of everybody in this building. And when you do that, and then you go out on the field and you produce, you're naturally going to be that guy. And as long as he continue to do that, I think he's going to be one of those guys that can, be a voice on the field for us and a voice in the huddle for us.
You talked about Zakai when he was hurt, like he was still studying film and knew the defense. So how good is it to see him back healthy and kind of playing his potential?
2 years ago, he came in early as a high school freshman, tore his ACL. I think he was home on spring break, getting some extra work in the sand pit, and tore it. And so his whole first year was just a frustrating year for him. But he was still locked in as much as I've ever seen a kid, and knew the scheme, knew the playbook. And I think even last year he kind of was coming back from it, wasn't fully healthy. Kind of got banged up with an ankle last fall, and got rolled up on his foot last fall. And now he's changed his body a little bit in the off season, and just so happy and proud of him. Obviously he got to go do it on Saturdays in the fall. It's one thing to do it on Saturdays in the spring. What counts is those Saturdays in the fall. So he's got to keep working. Got a lot of work to do, but proud of where he's been so far.
With safety, you've had a lot of guys that have played, I guess, like part-time. What's kind of what do they have to do to make that jump and be like full-time guys?
Yeah, I mean, you got Jordan Huff started some games. Dante Nash started some games. Omar Rogers, Devin King, they've all started back there. That's part-time guys. They haven't been the guy yet. And I think days like today challenged them a little bit. I mean, there was a lot of running. We did our half-field man work, stacks and bunches. We did a perimeter drill, which is throw the screens out there, and they're getting blocked on the edges, and they got to go make the play. We did a skelly. We did a live team run. Might as well have been an inside run. We did a goal line period, and we did a tip-over team period at the end. And that first safety, that's a lot of stress on your body and a lot of thinking, getting lined up, a lot of different defenses in right now. We basically have a whole playbook in right now and not in practice. So for those guys, that's, it pushes them, and it pushes them to get to that position. I think that you got to stress them to be the guy, and if we can do that, then I think we'll be fine in the fall. But they all four have shown flashes that they can make plays and done some really good things. They just got to be consistent with it.
And then corner, Savon, whatever his name is, as he tells us, he's obviously out this spring. Is that like a good opportunity for those other corners to kind of establish themselves?
Absolutely. And I think for him too, for Savon, it's one of those things. Sometimes when you're out and you're out of the action, out of the heat, you kind of step back and look at the bigger picture and like, okay, I see what Coach is talking about now, and I see what my responsibility, what my job is. You see a little bit of the bigger picture than just, hey, I'm lined up on number one all the time. Those guys is absolutely, a chance for Isaiah Brown Murray is a guy, again, knock on wood, that's had a really good spring up to this point. He's got to keep pushing, but compared to where he was in the fall, he's taken that next step. And he's continued to do that, so it's been a good opportunity for him to do that. I told him, hey, that corner room, how they go attack practice every day is a reflection of how you're leading that corner room. And that's where it starts. Talked about leadership. I mean, leadership starts in your position room. If I can, if I'm Isaiah and I can go lead my corner room, well, then I become a bigger voice and a bigger voice. So that's where it starts. And then, Tymer Brown, Andrew Wilson-Lamp, Lamp Wilson, they have an opportunity to get more reps now. And not just reps against the 2s or 3s, but reps against the 1s. Dalen Diston, same thing. So we're trying to find out, hey, and I told the guys today, we're trying to find out who we can trust in the fall and who we can count on. And not just who the coaching staff can trust, but who your teammates can trust. Because they want to know that they can look at you, hey, you're going to lock somebody down on the edge at corner, you're going to do your job, and you're going to get off the field with me. We can ride with you. So that's what we're looking at right now. And guys that go compete, and, hey, who's going to be our top 20, 25 guys? I mean, it may be a situation. I was just talking to Coach Houston in the hallway about our offense going to go faster. Well, we might play more defensive snaps. Probably, but will, and how much deeper are we going to have to go, to make sure we have enough depth to do that? We've played, about 20 guys last year, maybe 22 the year before. Maybe we have to go to 25 guys to make sure we're ready to play. So we got to make sure we're taking advantage of every rep we get this spring to make sure we find those guys and develop those guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate